Hey guys, my name is Gert Hendricks. I'm a safety coach at OHS Safety, and what we are doing is to give some information out so that all the companies in South Africa can know how to implement and maintain a safety management system within their company. Now this is the very first lesson, and we're going to start with something which is extremely important, and that is a foundation of knowledge of what does the Act say. Because before we can start, we need to know who is responsible, what do we need to look at, and to be the minimum compliance. Now the very first thing is the understanding of the OHS Act is what is it all about. Well, it's all about health and safety. And what do we want to achieve now? Obviously no incidents. The role players that we have there around the Occupational Health and Safety Act is firstly the employer and then obviously the employees. What is it all about? Health and safety. And if you have a look there, that is a safety meeting. We sit around a table, representative of the employer, representative of the employees, and we talk about health and safety. And what about is how to prevent incidents in the workplace. Now it's extremely important that we need to understand each one of these role players and see what sections of the Act is applicable on it. So let's start with the employer. If you have a look at the employer, we start off with section 16.1, which says that the CEO is ultimately responsible for the health and safety. He has got the right, according to 16.2, to appoint a management to assist him regarding his duties and liabilities in OHS Act. Section 7 says that we need to have a plan of action, a policy, a personal commitment of how to achieve safety on a daily basis, or are we just running it day by day hoping that nothing happens? Section 8, duties of the employers tell us exactly how we need to achieve it. It's like identifying all our hazards, eliminate, mitigate, PPE, put supervision in place and ongoing training. It's like a big circle that happens continuously in the workplace. And then everybody needs to be have a letter of good standing with the government, with Department of Labor, who's going to pick up the bill when somebody gets injured. And obviously you need to have your first aiders and firefighters, your emergency team in place for in case something happens. Then section 37, which is divided in two sections. Firstly, employees, stating that every employee needs to have an appointment letter stating what they can and cannot do when you're working involved, as well as contractors, mandatories, telling them what their liabilities are and how they can work in your environment. And then 38, penalties. Yes, we can go to jail, but this is not the platform to talk about the 100,000 rand and 2 years imprisonment. Good. Let's quickly jump over to the employee and see which sections. Just keep in mind that although the Act says that the employer is ultimately responsible for the implementation of health and safety, the following sections is there to strengthen the employee and to make sure that he is also actively involved in the safety of the workplace. It is not just management. So for example, section 17 says that you need to appoint a safety representative when you are 20 and more employees. Section 18 tells them exactly what is the duties and responsibilities of that safety representative. Section 19 tells us when to have a safety meeting, and 20 is what is the function of that safety committee, what needs to be discussed. Section 14 is then the duties of the employees at work, and then section 13 is duty to inform. The employer needs to inform the employees exactly of how to work and what to work. Now we're going to stick to this, and now that we've got a good overview of just some of the sections, let's quickly see what happens when that dreaded incident will come. Now firstly, Department of Labor will pitch up on site, and they're going to ask a couple of tough questions. And one of the questions they're going to ask is who's management? Not have you signed an appointment letter. Irrespective of your signed appointment letter, if management have found you competent enough to be in management, then you are liable. As soon as somebody reports to you, you are liable for those people. And then have you got an action plan, a safety file stating exactly how you're going to take charge of your environment? Have you identified all your hazards, eliminate, mitigate, PPE, put supervision in place and ongoing training? Have you got a letter of good standing? Who's going to pick up the bill for this poor guy that got injured? Have you got an appointment letter stating what this guy can and cannot do? And only then, no negligence will be proven on the employer's side, and they will jump over to the employee and say, we have got proof of evidence that the employer have acted as a responsible person. But if there is but one cross, by default the employer then becomes ultimately responsible. This act, we call it self-regulating, meaning that you are guilty until proven innocent. Not like other acts, because this act is very clear, stating nobody must get injured. Now somebody is injured. Prove your innocence. So let's quickly sum up. What is the responsibilities and how do we implement it? It is the duty of the employer to inform the employees how to work safely. How can he do that? Well, with safe working procedures, SOP, induction training, toolbox talks. There's such a lot of tools that the employer can use to inform the employees how to do his work safely and not get injured. It is then the duty of the employees to report back that it is working or not working. How does he do that? Well, by inspections, safety meetings, communications. There's a lot of tools that can be used for the employer and the employees to ensure that this circle of a safety management happens on a weekly, daily and a monthly basis within the company. So when Department of Labor then pitch it up to come and have a look and see if you are as a responsible employer, he can then just have a look at your safety file and you will find all the proof of evidence there that you have communicated and have reported a safety management system in the workplace. Guys, this is just the first one of this training sessions and videos. We would like to keep it short. So what we are going to do is then every day we're going to discuss one of these things. You guys are welcome to log in and have a look at it. And just for those that's curious, for next week, we're going to talk about who is management. Because we like to say that the CEO is ultimately responsible. But we have seen today that he has got the right to appoint somebody to assist him in his duties and liabilities. So if you guys are interested, log in tomorrow at the FTA Safebook site or website and you guys can follow us there. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and please be safe.